What's up, everybody? Thanks again for joining me on this week's episode of In the Pink. And if you are not familiar with what that term means, that is a term that was coined way back in the 1500s, before pink was even a color, and it had to do with wishing someone their optimum health and happiness. So this week we are gonna cover gut health, and we are filling in that blank with stress. But as always, we're always gonna start out with the what we know. So my first what we know that the stress response is very natural and harmless in short-term doses, right? But issues start to arise when we are under chronic stress, long-term stress, because prolonged stress has been linked to a variety of disorders: obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and depression, just to name a few. And my next what we know, have you ever felt butterflies in your stomach? Have you ever had a gut feeling? Have you ever called something gut-wrenching? This connection is real. The gut-brain axis is a real thing. And we know that our gut and brain are in constant communication. In fact, more neurons reside in our gut than they do in our entire spinal column. And my last what we know that even thinking about food triggers your gut to start releasing digestive enzymes. That's how connected it is. All right, let's move on. Let's start out very general so we can just understand what stress does to the body. So let's explain it really simply here. Let's do a once upon a time. So once upon a time, Charlie is getting chased by a ravenous predator, and we get a fight or flight response. This is what stress does. These stress signals start to travel, and they travel along this gut-brain axis, basically instructing our gut to not put energy into digesting his lunch, put energy into his limbs. But since Charlie's issue was pretty short-lived and he escaped his predator, let's just wrap this up with the importance of stress management, because yes, over time, chronic stress causes issues. So things like an increased acid production in our stomach, you might feel nauseous, you might start having a little bout of diarrhea or maybe even constipation. But not only these GI changes, stress is also going to cause a rise in blood sugar, faster breathing and heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and even a rise in cholesterol. And the obvious one, if you're Charlie, a heightened state of awareness. It can even worsen symptoms of issues you may have going on already. So things like irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease. It can exacerbate ulcers and increase reflux issues, so heartburn problems. But let's add to this. Let's add to some other things Charlie may not realize are going on. The gut is gonna start to produce less mucus, and the mucus layer is what is protective in our gut lining. And we know that if we have a breakdown in our gut lining, we end up with leaky gut. And we also know leaky gut is going to cause an increase in inflammation. So it's kind of a big deal. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the gut's role in all this. Well, first and foremost, psychological stress is tied into an altered microbiome in people, even though this cause and effect relationship has not been fleshed out to this point. But let's look at a couple plausible mechanisms that would explain why this is happening. Well, let's look at an obvious one. Have you ever heard of stress eating? That is a real deal, you guys. If you are under stress, you may start to crave crap food more often, right? All of this is going to disrupt the microbiome. All right, the next one. There is a link between these physiological changes caused by stress and how it's impacting the microbiome by just the bacterial population. And this has to do with an altered gut motility, which reduces mucus production and essentially changes the makeup of the gut bacteria, allowing pretty aggressive pathological bacteria to start overgrowing and moving out the good or commensal gut bacteria. All right, let's look at a different angle now. Research is suggesting that this link between stress and our gut microbiome is bidirectional. It works both ways. So in other words, our gut microbiome may actually mediate our stress response. So let's look at this with a case in point here. Again, we have a study done on germ-free mice, and they exhibit an increased stress-like reaction in the form of anxiety and have this exaggerated stress response when it comes to this fight or flight business, which of course means an increase, even more so, of cortisol into the system. But not only that, there was a groundbreaking study in 2004 where researchers were able to reverse this increased stress reaction by implanting germ-free mice with bifidobacterium species. So in other words, these mice that were getting a dose of bifidobacterium into their systems had less of a fight or flight reaction. They handled the stress better. Again, very clearly indicating that our gut microbiome affects our mood, how we deal with everyday life, stress. All right, it's time to move on. Let's move on to some healthy habits, some things we can be doing on a daily basis, not only to help us manage stress, but to keep us in overall general health. So first and foremost, we always start with diet. These are some easy changes that can bring about results. So first and foremost, protein-rich foods. And here's why. Well, protein we know is made up of amino acids, but amino acids play an important role because they send messages throughout our body. And these signals have roles that regulate our emotional state. So when you eat a variety of protein-rich foods throughout the day, you help your body produce these necessary signals to support your mood. So the obvious things: fish, meats, cheese, dairy, nut butters, chickpeas, and in the form of hummus, it's delicious. Get in your protein. Second thing, probiotic-rich foods, which we cover all the time. And they come in the form of fermented foods. So kefir, Greek yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, any foods you can find containing live cultures, that is the important catchphrase. And tied in with probiotic-rich foods, prebiotic-rich foods. Prebiotics are fibers found in fruits and vegetables that our body doesn't utilize, but our gut bacteria does. It feeds on these fibers, and that in turn improves our diversity in our gut, and it makes that commensal population stronger. So prebiotic fruits and vegetables, we think of asparagus, bananas, garlic, onions, and even whole oats. All right, the next one, exercise. You guys, regular exercise. We know that regular physical activity relieves tension and stimulates the release of chemicals in our brain called endorphins. And these endorphins act as natural pain relievers, along with improving sleep and reducing stress. And the next one, meditation or yoga. These are also practices that have been shown to help your mind refocus and help you focus less on stress. All right, you guys, time to move into the best part. Let's talk Plexus. Let's talk Plexus and how Plexus can play a role in your health picture. Well, first and foremost, we're always gonna start with the TRIPLEX because cornerstone products are worth talking about. So this consists of the pink drink, the slim, specifically the microbiome activating variety. This stuff is the cornerstone product because it tackles the 3 pillars of our health, being blood sugar stability, cellular inflammation, and gut health. And it contains prebiotic fibers to feed those probiotics that we plant with the PROBIO 5. So the PROBIO 5 is a powerhouse probiotic. It is not your mother's probiotic. Well, hopefully it is your mother's probiotic. And the PROBIO 5 is not any regular probiotic because it plants 5 thriving strains we need in our gut, but also it's got an enzyme blend in there to get in there and weed out the pathogenic bacteria that tend to overgrow on us very quickly, like Candida. And the third and final thing is the BIOCLEANSE, an oxygenated magnesium supplement along with sodium bicarbonate and vitamin C, meant to give our body a gentle daily cleanse, moving the yuck out. The next one, VITALBIOME. This is another probiotic, a straight probiotic with 8 different strains of probiotics to get in there and give us diversity in our gut. But not only that, there are psychobiotic strains in here which help our bodies deal with stress. Bottom line, this stuff is magic. If you have anxiety issues, if you have depressive symptoms, the VITALBIOME is a fantastic addition to your gut health. And how about the X Factor Plus vitamin? We know how important nutrition is to our overall health. And if you are not getting what you need from your foods, and you're not, then it's important to get these vitamins and nutrients into your body in a form that is bioavailable and that is fully methylated and our body knows how to use it. And the last one, METABURN. METABURN is a product that we use for fat burning and metabolism boosting. But wait, there's more. This product has everything to do with hormone balance, cortisol being a hormone. So this is definitely a product to dig into a little bit more if you don't know that much about it, and the video will be listed in the description box below. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging with me till the very end. And if you are new to this Plexus train and have no idea what I am talking about, I'm gonna list in that description box my link. Get on there, nose around, ask me some questions. Curiosity will get you on this train every time. I'm also gonna list in that description box below the video links to the products we've talked about today, as well as some playlists I've done in the past. This current playlist in the pink is gonna be right up here, so if you wanna catch a couple more episodes, they'll be easy to sort through. And you just might wanna join me here again next week, because what happens in the gut does not stay in the gut. It affects everything, which is going to lead into many more episodes of In the Pink.